So you ready for a mini adventure?
I'm ready for a mini adventure.
Well, stuff will definitely happen, but
Oh, I'm sure it will. Oh, I'm sure it will.
So, let's see. You were in the middle of the fight, and well, barely. I can't even really call it the middle of the fight. You were just sort of there, and then some puffs of gas
Excuse
went off,
me.
and then you went night-night. Yeah.
Good night. I'm gonna take a nap right here.
Yep. That happened. After you don't know how long because you were just out. You sort of like start to come to consciousness, being like jostled and shaken, and the first thing you notice when you're as you like come to consciousness is that you can't move.
Oh, awesome. Love that.
And you like shift around to try to move, and you realize that you're like tied up, and you're on your back and still being jostled, and you kind of open your eyes and look right up at the very, very cloudy sky. And you realize that you are probably being carried by some people, as you can hear the sounds of their footsteps and the way that you're like bumping along, and you're probably tied up. And yeah, that's about the extent of it. And yeah, so what do?
So what I'm seeing on the screen right now is not in fact accurate.
No, it's not. But I don't have a map of being carried to prison.
Ah, I see. Okay. Can I move my head at all and see like how many people are there at all, or am I like?
You can like turn your head to the side, I guess. Yeah, but really kind of all you see is just like you're kind of not completely thrown over someone's shoulder, because you assume that it seems like there's the way that you're being held, it seems like there's at least like two people holding you, like one got you by the feet, the other one's got you by like the midsection, but like your head is kind of like lolling back, so you can look around, but you really just see like the back of the person that's carrying you, and you look around and you can kind of see like a couple of others scattered around. It's the same bandits as before, and they're all sort of moving in a similar direction. One sort of actually, let's grab the fucking die. Let's do it. Fuck it.
Oh.
Yeah,
Okay.
no, he totally notices. Okay, so one of them notices you moving around and is like, "Oi, she's awake. We got any more of those ether bottles?" And like you hear someone else go, "It's ether. It's pronounced ether." And
Oh, good. They're dumbasses.
I was like, but I don't got any. He's like, yeah, Ethan, you got any more of those? No, I don't. Bill, you got any of those? No, I used mine on the blue one. and, and then you hear a distinctly different voice, because all of them have a very similar voice because they're random copy pasted NPCs numbers 1 through 3. Then you hear a different voice saying, "Be quiet. We're almost there. It doesn't matter if she's awake now." No, you don't recognize that voice, because I'm pretty sure you were out before he spoke. So
I was in fact out before he spoke. I recall.
And then he'll be like, "How is the other one doing?" And so you hear another one go, "Oh, I think she's awake too, boss." And it's like, "She's just being quiet. At least she has more sense than the rest of you." And then you hear the creaking of a like door, and like the sound of feet on wood, and there's more creaking, and things start to get a little darker as you go, as you're brought into, you see you see wood above you and around you. You see it's like rotted wood, rotted old wood with like holes all in it, and you're carried through what might be a house, but the shambling remains, not shambling because that requires movement, but the shoddy remains of a house. Are you going to do or say anything else as you're being carried into and through this house?
I'm gonna try look up and over again and see if I can spot who they're talking about, because I wasn't obviously, awake to see who the fuck else was taken.
Yeah. Make a perception check.
You got it. There it is.
And I'll roll a thing too.
Oh, okay. I'm not fucking seeing shit. I got
okay.
two.
Okay, cool. You see some mold. You see some mold on the wall. And it smells pretty musty and awful in here, and you're just like, why are they bringing me in here? This is clearly not a place people live. This is awful. Ew, I hate it. They better not put me down. Please keep carrying me through here. I don't want to be here. Yeah. And then you hear a click of like a lock type sound. And then you hear click of a lock type sound, creaking of something opening once again, bunch of people moving, shuffling around, and then someone was like, "Oh, be careful! Don't drop her! Don't hurt her!" And then it starts to get a lot darker, and you're going into darkness now. You can't really see anything anymore. But then you kind of can sort of see an orangey glow, but it's like on the other side of the person whose back you can kind of see. So it's like, okay, there's, and then it gets a little brighter, and then you pass by a torch on the wall, and in that light you can see that it's a stone wall now. And you did, when you got dark, you could tell you were going down. You had that, like, your feet tipped downward, and you got the sense of going down. Now you're straight again, and you see a stone wall, and they keep carrying you through this stone place. You hear some more doors open. The sounds of the people start to, like, scatter and be less and less frequent, and you assume that some of them are just like breaking off from the group, but you don't really see anywhere they could have gone, because it's mostly dark, occasional wall torches, and then you pass by like what might be a hallway going down a different way, but you can't really see as soon as you go by it. And then eventually they go around another corner, and what you see on the screen becomes reality as you hear the creaking of gates, and you are just sort of haphazardly tossed into a cell, and then it is slammed shut. And you see, they're not on the fucking map, but I don't honestly think it matters because you can't see it anyway, because you have no vision, you punny humming. So there's probably people out there. You can kind of make out their shadows in the dark, darker blobs against more darkness. And then the footsteps leave out the door. And I can probably just grab a token, just drop him in here for the sake of being here. You hear that like strike a match sound, and then suddenly there is some light.
Oh, okay.
And oh, the doors are solid? That's fucking stupid, Foundry! Why are the doors solid?
Seeing something, I'm just seeing some shadows because the fucking door.
I hate you, door! How fucking dare you? Alright, fine. I don't like you, door.
Just take the door away and pretend it's there. I'll know it's there.
Yeah, I will put...
I've got good brain.
I got good brain. I will put there. I can't move you on that screen. Maybe if I move you on that.
Oh!
There.
I see now.
Okay, cool.
I have seen.
Here.
I have vision.
But yeah, there we go. And you probably can't see through the other door on the far side. We're gonna leave it like that. You can't see the...
Okay.
We're gonna leave it like that. But you see this person in the middle of the room. He is a human, tall, slender human with that like sort of pompousy "I'm better than you" look on his face. You're very familiar with that look.
Yeah.
Dark, like a hooded cloak, cowl type of thing, really dark clothes, leather armor, all that good shit. Very obviously the sneaky sneak and also a snooty snoot. So, and he is just sort of standing there. He flicks out. He like shakes his hand to flick out the match, and is like, now we can see and potentially talk in a more civilized setting. Are you comfortable?
I'm tied up in a cell. Why would I be comfortable? Why am I here? What is the meaning of this?
Of course. My apologies. And he sort of snaps his fingers, and the ropes suddenly loosen and like slither away like snakes. They're still rope. Like you probably like jump and look at them and watch. It's like, no, that's rope, but it's moving, and then it slithers away and it goes back to him. And then you also can. Nah, you don't have to make a perception check. You notice as you watch them, because you're watching them go, and they go back up to him and like sort of like slither like up his leg and then like coil into like rope on his hip. You notice another rope from behind him, like that comes up and also joins it. So there were two ropes. And then you hear a voice, "What the fuck is going on? Let us out of here!" I do too. I do too.
She's so like cutesy, like Disney princessy, but then is also like, what the fuck is going on?
I know. I love Ireena. She's my fucking favorite in this entire module. And she can just step to the side now so you can see her grabbing onto the bars and like shaking them. Like, who are you? What are you doing? And he'll just turn around and be like, I unfortunately cannot disclose that information right now, but I'm sure that all will be made clear when your rescuers arrive. And he like rolls his eyes at that. I do not believe you will require any sort of food. They should not take too long, I hope. And he just sort of looks at the door, and it's like, I shall be back within an hour, maybe 2 hours if you are still here. And if you are not still here, good. And he goes towards the door, and then he pauses. In fact, no, I will not be back. I have a feeling I do not want to be here when the others arrived. And with that, he opens the door and walks the fuck out. And then he closes the door.
Well, I'm gonna edge closer to the little bars just to get a better look.
Yeah. She sort of like squints. Lucille, is that you? Are you?
Yes, it is. Are you all right? Did you get hurt?
No, I am fine. They did not they didn't really hurt me. They tied me up, and it was a bit of a rough ride over here, but I am all right. How about you? Are you all right? Where are the others?
I don't know where the others are. I just remember the bandits, and then I was out, and then I'm here. I remember a bit of the bumpy ride as well, but I don't understand why we're even here. Although, granted that it's the two of us, I may have a sneaking suspicion.
Oh God, no. Oh no. Oh no, no. But why? Why would he? No. He can't. He can't. Why?
I don't know his motives. Just let's try and remain as calm as we can. Trust me, I want to strangle every single man who brought us in here. But for now, we have to remain calm.
Right. And hope that he said that our rescuers would be here soon, probably. So, maybe why would anyone capture us and expect a rescuer to come for us? That doesn't.
If they wanted to hurt the rescuers, perhaps? They seem to have no intention to hurt us.
Maybe a ransom? I mean, they are...
Perhaps.
They are bandits, and they're probably looking for money.
Whatever it is, I don't believe it's good intentions.
Oh, of course not. They're fucking horrible people.
You're right about that, yes.
God damn it. What, she sort of starts, like, rifling through her pockets, but, and, like, she gets more and more, like, flustered as she keeps looking and is producing nothing from her pockets, and it's like, God damn it, they took everything! How? I don't even have any magic that could get us out of here anyway.
I wish I did, but unfortunately I do not either.
She sort of looks at the locked bars and is like, well, I could try this. Let me quadruple check that it does not have a material component because she doesn't have any of those. Oh no, it's just, it's literally just clap your hands if you believe. Okay! Ireena's gonna, like, sort of step back, almost like, she's gonna be about to take a step back, and then she just sort of shakes her head like, no, can't do that. She like spreads her arms wide and brings them together in a clap, and there is this thunderous booming sound as she does that, and like the whole room sort of shakes, and like some stone chips off the walls, and she flinches and like then looks back, and the bars are completely the same. She's like, damn it.
Well, thank you for trying. Better than not trying at all, I suppose.
Oh, but do you think?
Think what?
I don't know. I don't know what to think. I don't know what to do. I don't like this. I wish my brother was here.
I wish my father was here. Things aren't the way that either of us want them, and I'd rather be anywhere than sitting in a dirty jail cell because of some stupid place that I'm in. And sorry, I'm not helping. I'm really not.
Well, no, but it's fine. I feel the same way. I wish I could do something.
At least we're not alone in these cells. Got each other to talk to at the very least.
I suppose, yeah, it could be worse. Although we can't, they're keeping us separate, and I hope they didn't hurt anybody. I wonder if the others are trapped somewhere else here, maybe. I wonder if...
I'm not sure. I tried to look around and see, but I didn't see anybody. I just saw the walls and such as they brought us here.
Yeah, I didn't see anything either. I'm trying to figure out how long it will take, and it'll probably be like less than an hour, probably.
All right.
It'll probably be less than an hour. I don't know. Actually, it can be any amount of time. It would probably only be like 15 minutes. That sounds about right. So,
I'm just thinking about how Lucille isn't gonna shut up about being kidnapped for 15 minutes. You don't understand.
It'll be however fucking long it takes them to get here. However, I'm not going to guess. But yeah, Lucille, make a perception check, and Ireena, you can make a perception check too, but you're not allowed to use those dice because.
Oh, synthetic 20.
Oh, fantastic. Are these your dice, Ireena? No. Yes, I have to find and use her dice. Oh, they're over here. That's why I can't find them. I knew that. Yeah, I found them. Alright. Ireena, roll your perception. Fuck, Ireena don't hear shit. Okay, cool. Love you too, Ireena. So you hear, kind of through the wall and or the door, like, I mean, they're stone, so it's not really easy to hear through them, but at the same time, the whole room is stone, so it's pretty freaking echoey, so you could hear stuff from outside. You hear, the sounds of a struggle, metal against metal, and some sort of battle. And then everything is quiet. And you roll a synthetic 20, so you could probably hear some footsteps against stone. And the door
I probably would
opens.
have scooted over here to like put my ear against the wall and try and hear better.
Okay. The door, and Ireena's like, what is it? What happened?
I hear noises out there. I think there's somebody here.
There's a good somebody or bad somebody? They're here already? That was pretty fast.
I can't tell. I cannot tell if they're good or bad. I just hear clashing and wait, it's quiet now. Footsteps.
And
I think somebody's coming.
You hear the door open. You can see the door open. And you'll never guess who walks in the damn door.
Wow, that's me! Whoa!
Yeah.
Oh my god!
I don't know how surprised Lucille is to see him. Honestly. Because, yeah, I don't know how much she expected this. But, Ireena's kind of surprised. Ireena, why is your token displaying as hostile? You are friendly as fuck.
She's mad.
I mean, there's that. Ireena, like, sort of jumps the fuck back. Like, it's hard to tell if she's actually, if she's actually surprised or just afraid. Yeah. Strahd Vernzorovich walks into the room, hands behind his back, standing, of course, straight and tall, very tall. Did I mention he's tall? Because he fucking is. It's ridiculous.
Oh, yeah, no. What'd you say he was? Like fucking 6'6"?
He's 6'6", yeah. He's tall.
Oh, awesome.
He's and fairly jacked, too. Like, yeah. He comes in, he looks around and, sees both of you, and, is like, Ireena, Lady Lucille, are you alright? They did not hurt you, did they?
Physically fine. It's all that I'm gonna get out of her.
Fine, yes. It's like, so Strahd kind of turns towards you, and is like, physically fine? What did they do? What did they do to you other than physically?
I don't know. Tied me up, kidnapped me, put me in a cell. Somewhere I don't know.
Well,
Not exactly good on the brain.
That is fair. Would you like to not be in this cell?
I mean, if you're offering, I won't decline.
That is why I came here. And he turns and looks at Ireena. It's like, would you also like to be free? And Ireena walks up back to the gate and is like, where are we going, though? If I'm out of this cell.
Good question. I'd like to second that.
He sort of shrugs and is like, wherever you wish. Although I would insist that I escort you out of here because it is not safe. And I would not wish to leave you alone in the wilds of Borovia. But I could escort you to a town, a city. If we found some people capable of defending you, then you could stay with them if you so desired. Ireena sort of doesn't really have an answer to that.
So, you're just willing to take us back to where our friends are? Would that be an option?
Oh, if you wish to put your safety back in their hands again, despite their failure.
I'd rather remain with them. They are in a similar situation to myself, having been taken to this land are people I know, people I trust, frankly.
He takes a step towards the bars. I just stand right up next to it. Like, my lady, why are you so contemptuous of me? What have I
Well,
done
according
wrong?
to everyone that I've met, you like to bring people here from their worlds and toy with them. And I appreciate being taken from my home, from my life that I have worked incredibly hard for, just to be toyed with.
Ah, that is what the people are saying.
Is this not the truth?
Your arrival in my lands was as much a surprise to me as it was to you. Although, perhaps a little less for me, because this sort of thing does happen fairly frequently. The mists that surround my domain are something strange, otherworldly, and they have a mind of their own. You have no doubt heard that the Vistani can somehow leave this land, and yet the other people cannot. The mists bring many people into my domain. The people that are brought in tend to be brought in groups, and they usually are fighters and adventurers, or at least somewhat capable. Some might call them champions. But you are different. Not that you do not have your own capabilities, but you are not the kind that generally does those kinds of things. You, I would say you are not an adventurer. Is this a correct assumption?
I would not classify myself as an adventurer, no.
You have no doubt heard stories of the types of things that happen to certain people, like yourself, within my land. And you have probably also noticed your similarity to the other individual in this room. And I believe that is why you were taken and brought here.
Elaborate. What do you mean by this?
It is not that I am unwilling to tell you, or you, Ireena, of your pasts, of your fates, and of your connections to me. It is that this is a kind of information that, well, you see what happened to both of you. You are now here. I can only assume that it is because of your connection to me. If other people knew that there was a connection between those of golden hair and myself, those people would be targeted, as Ireena is well aware. I will disclose the information to you, but you must swear on your lives, to never tell anyone what I will tell you. Do you agree?
I agree to your terms.
He looks over to Ireena, and Ireena looks kind of hesitant and scared. Like, I don't know if I want to know this now, if it's this fucking important, but she sort of nods slowly, like, yes, I agree. And so Strahd holds his hand through the bar, to shake your hand.
I will shake it.
Okay. And so that means I'm going to need you to make a wisdom saving throw with disadvantage, please.
Oh, awesome. You'll love to see it. Okay.
Yep.
7.
Lovely. All right.
Fucking love to see it.
So, as he shakes your hand, you hear the words that he spoke. You must never tell this to another person. As long, whatever exactly he said, you must never tell this to another person. You swear on your lives that you'll never tell this to another person. And you hear it like echoing in your head, like over and over and over again. And Ireena sort of has like a strange look on her face, like she's hearing this too. It sort of like gets a little louder, and like the words feel more powerful, and sort of like an oath. Like you get the feeling that you are now held to your word to never tell anyone what he's about to tell you. And he will say, and then of course it dies down. Like it's like, okay, but it's still, you still feel that. You still feel like, okay, I can't. Great, that's a thing now. But then you can hear again, and he says, I apologize for enchanting you both in such a way, but I need to be certain. And I sincerely hope that you will keep your word. For if you do not, there is a good chance that that magic will kill you. So, Ireena Koliana, that is not your true name, or at least that was not your first name. You, Ireena, are the reincarnation of my lost love, Tatiana, who died on her wedding day almost 400 years ago. And Ireena just looks like absolutely speechless and stunned at this revelation, of course. So Strahd continues, for these centuries, I and all within the realm have been trapped, their souls trapped, to remain in Barovia and be reborn over and over again. I have seen my beloved Tatiana return in many different forms with different names, and every time tragedy strikes and I am unable to be with her again. And you, he turns now to look at you, Lucille, you look exactly like her as well. And I have never seen another Tatiana at the same time. When I first saw you, I was smitten with you. I could not believe my eyes, especially because I already knew that Ireena existed. And I wondered who you were. I was almost compelled to provide for your needs, that you were in need of an instrument. You were, dare I say, indecent. You needed clothes and supplies, and so I provided for you. And I do not know who you are or why you look like my lost love. But I believe there is something special about you. And that the mists and whatever conspires to torture me here has brought you to give me false hope that I could potentially be reunited with my lost love, or perhaps to confuse me and make me wonder who I truly love. I do not know. But I am deeply sorry that you have been caught up in this.
Um, stunned silence, I guess. Shit.
After, yeah, Ireena's also pretty stunned and silent, but she'll probably find her voice first and say, So, the rumors, the stories, the, the, those of the hell with angels are taken by devils. The horrible fates that befall those with blonde hair. It's... Strahd nods and says, Yes. When it seems as though we are close to being together again, tragedy strikes once again. She is taken by illness, by monsters. Sometimes the people have discovered of our love, and out of a hatred for me, they kill her so that I cannot have her.
So this loop of reincarnation, when did it begin? Why did it begin?
It was 400 years ago, as I said. I suppose I am being punished. I was...
For?
I was a conqueror. While my father was a king, his land was not this land. I went out. I conquered more lands in his name. That is where I got my moniker of being called the devil. I was a devil on the battlefield. And then I decided to settle in the valley of Borovia. It was once such a beautiful and lush and wonderful country. I thought that perhaps my family could come here and rebuild what was left of our lives. My father was assassinated by a rival country, I suppose. We do not actually know who did it. But before my mother could come here, she perished, and only her remains made it to the castle. I do not know if perhaps I am being punished for all of the people whose lives and livelihood I destroyed in my quest to find a new home for my family. There are many others in the world who have done far worse than I, and yet they are not punished, so... I've been trying for years to figure out how to break this spell, this curse. And all that I can think of is because I have been kept from my love that if I were to finally be able to have her, it is cliché to think that true love can break a curse, but I have found no other indication that it is false. So that is what I have been trying.
Huh. Once more, just stunned silence, but still, like, a little bit more in thought now.
Ireena is also kind of like in thought, but also just like folding her arms and frowning. Like she's not happy to know this. Like she's thinking things, but from the look on her face, what she's thinking is not making her happy. So she's just sort of being quiet and frowny.
This is a lot of information to receive at once.
You wanted to
Pardon my...
know.
No, I did, and I appreciate you telling me. I just do not quite know what to make of it or what to do with it quite yet. It's all a lot.
Yes, I understand. And I do not even know how you truly factor into it. Perhaps,
I can't say I understand either.
perhaps because you are not from this land. Maybe you are the key. Or maybe you were brought here as a distraction. So that I pursue you and not Tatiana, who is the key. I do recall some 200, almost 300 years ago, a man, well, an elf, came to my land. And he said he was seeking a woman he called Anna. And I took him into my castle and we became friends of a sort. He learned of Tatiana and I have a portrait of her. And he saw this portrait and told me that it is identical to the woman Anna who died in a fire, I believe he said. I do not quite recall. In an insane asylum in Waterdeep.
In Waterdeep?
Mm. Are you familiar with Waterdeep?
That's where I'm from. That's my home.
Then you could perhaps be this Anna. This man believed that Anna and Tatiana were one and the same. Why, I do not know, but seeing you, I do believe it.
None of this makes any sense, and yet that somehow almost is starting to make sense. I don't understand.
I understand that you do not understand. And I do not expect you to. I do not understand it, and well, I have spent many years studying the arcane and all manner of mysteries, and yet I still do not understand. Though the rebirth of a soul into a new body is not an unheard of concept. And Tatiana is by no means the only one. Everyone within Barovia, well, every soul within Barovia is reborn into a new body once they die. Though that was not the case in anywhere that I had ever heard of. But
It-
perhaps...
No, go ahead.
But perhaps if your soul, or perhaps part of your soul, originated in Barovia, that is why you were brought back, and why you reincarnated in a land where that is not the norm.
Clearly, just back to silence and thinking, like, no response from her.
Yep. Yep. No.
So what you're saying is I am the reincarnation of Tatiana or Anna, or are they the same?
I do not know, for I have seen many, I have seen many women who look exactly like the two of you. Never two at the same time, though. And I have seen many people in my land who look the same, and act the same, and essentially are the same as those that have come before them. And I can be sure, well, I was sure before I saw you, sure beyond the shadow of a doubt, that Ireena is the reincarnation of my beloved Tatiana. And now there is you. You who wield an instrument and use it to produce magic. Ireena, who has a beautiful singing voice that can also do magic. And Tatiana and every incarnation of her has had a musical inclination. Not all magical, but many of them were, and all of them played an instrument or sang or were somehow musically inclined. Which is another rarity in Barovia. I do not know if Anna and Tatiana are the same person. But Tatiana keeps reincarnating in Barovia. As far as I know, her soul cannot escape. No soul can escape Barovia. And yet, there is you.
And yet there is me, indeed.
But you are back. Perhaps no soul can escape Barovia forever. I do not recall ever seeing anyone that looks like anyone else in your party. Actually, history is what I use for that. Oh!
Nope.
Actually, okay, so in that case, he says that, and then he pauses, and seems to think. And, like, he looks away, like, he stops meeting your gaze, and his eyes unfocused, like he's thinking of something, and envisioning something. And then he, like, snaps out of it, like, regardless, I do not believe that is the reason they were brought here. But I believe it was why you were brought here.
So what your belief is that finding your Tatiana will break this curse, but it is always interrupted by tragedy? Is this correct?
Yes, which I believe is the curse itself. There are...
So there is no end to the curse then?
Presumably, yes. In recent years, it has been... I have pursued her every time she reincarnates. In recent years, it has been more difficult because my reputation precedes me. As you can see with Ireena, she is quite displeased with me. Ireena sort of mutters like, yeah, 'cause you killed my fucking father. And like there's a, like, despite the distance and the fact that, like, you barely heard her, like, Strahd, like, sort of closes his eyes for a minute, and there's, like, a look on his face that's like, he heard her, and he's just kind of, just like a, you know, that kind of look, like a, and like a, I want to say something to that, but I'm not going to. I have never had any assistance in this task either. It has always been myself pursuing Tatiana. Never has she come to me. Never it has always had to be in secret. There was once that I told her parents that I was interested in courting her, and that was one of the times that ended poorly. I was told no, and that I could not have her, and of course I conspired to see her anyway, and when her parents found out, that is when tragedy struck again. But I've never had help. There has never been anyone to protect my beloved from the things that have taken her. I am not a healer, I cannot do anything about a disease that takes her. If ever she is attacked, it is always when she is not by my side. That is why I have allowed her to travel with all of you, because I had hoped you could all protect her. And I have watched from afar, trying to convince her to come of her own accord. Perhaps that is the key. I have also heard of a place of great power in the valley. Perhaps it is related to the curse. I do not know.
What do you mean, place of great power?
A temple, far off, hidden in the mountains, which There are mountains all around. None know truly where it lies. None that live, anyway. The temples are also not a place I am welcome. Even if I were to know where it is, I do not know if I could go. But answers may be there.
Nobody knows the location of this. They just know it's in the mountains.
Nobody alive knows its location, and perhaps fewer even know that it exists. Those that do have spoken of it being in the mountains. Usually in very vague terms, as one does with mystical temples and curses.
I suppose that's fair.
I have reason to believe that it is a mandate of the magic. It is not quite within my purview, so I do not know. I do apologize for giving both of you so much to think about and such potentially absurd information. But you wished to know, and somehow I do feel better now that there are two people who know of my plight.
I'm gonna glance over to Ireena. How's she looking?
Yeah, she is looking conflicted, confused, upset, quite upset. Like you can kind of see the gears turning in her head when you look at her. Like her facial expression goes in stages of like confused, thinking, furrowed brow, angry, and then like there's almost like a realization, and then she shakes her head again, and it's like mm. Like she's processing some shit. It's a lot. And she doesn't have a damn thing to add. Like it's not even just you're the PC, you get all the attention. It's like nah, Ireena just has nothing to add anyway. It's
Yeah, no. Valid. I'll look back to Strahd at that. Unless you have any more pertinent information to add, I believe it would be best for us to be escorted out of here now.
Of course. What do you intend to do now? Either of you.
I'll look to Ireena on that. Do we wish to go back to the group?
Well, I assume that they are worried about us, and I would like to get back to them. Yes. Um. I. The plan was to go to Valaki. I I mean, the plan was to go to Vallaki because the people in the village did not accept me, and I was going to try and start a new life in Vallaki. But so I suppose none of that has changed. Strahd looks over at her and is like, you could always come to the castle and start a new life there. And Ireena does, she like, again, she furrows her brow like she's like actually thinking about what he said, but she slowly like just shakes her head. She doesn't say anything, but she just shakes her head. So I just slowly nods, like, I understand.
Then I suppose we would like to return back to our group.
If you wish, though my offer to Ireena extends to you as well, Lucille.
I will politely decline. But thank you.
He nods like he nods as if like, yep, I expected this. But you can see that he's like, yep, I expected this, but he's hurt.
Aww. Aww.
But it's like, yep, he will walk over to the gate, the door, like sort of pick the lock up in his hand, and then the lock just starts glowing red, and then it just sort of melts and just melts through his fingers, and he just sort of melts through his fingers and just drips onto the floor, and then he swings the door open and holds it open for you, like gesturing out for you to go, like, you know, holding it with one hand, gesturing with the other.
Yeah.
After you, m'lady. You know how it is.
Strahd with fedora.
See, the difference is though that he's actually good looking.
Yeah.
And he goes over and does the same to Ireena's. Do I have to right click it to unlock it and then open? Fine, fuck you, Foundry. He does the same thing. He picks up he picks it up, and it gets hotter and hotter and hotter until again the molten metal just melts through his bare fingers, by the way. And actually, you know what, Lucille, roll me a perception check.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, just do. Whoa, bye dice. I didn't want Ireena to roll that anyway. It's fine.
7.
Fucking okay, cool. I kind of wanted you to see it, but whatever.
Sorry.
It's fine. That is still +3. Why is it plus? Oh, it is +3. Son of a bitch. Yeah, well, Ireena fucking saw it. She sort of like stares as he's doing that, and like even after it like drips on the floor, she keeps staring at his hand. And then he closes his fist and like puts his hand, and then like opens the gate and gestures for her to leave. And she walks out. She walks like very cautiously, just like sort of turning her back more towards away from Strahd. Like she is kind of not facing directly at Strahd, but like facing more towards Strahd than away from Strahd. Like she is not gonna turn her back on this fucker at all. And just sort of like tries not to like flinch and scurry to the door, but she's pretty close to just flinching and scurrying to the door.
No.
And Strahd like sort of steps up and keeps his distance, respectfully, and then just sort of like gestures like an after you. Unless, well, actually, no, he's going to instead be like, shall I lead the way, or would you like to?
I suppose you know your way around here better than us.
He smiles and like bows graciously, and Ireena just scoots out the way of the door, and Strahd goes to go out the door, and that's where we'll end.
Epic.
Because exactly. Popo! I hear Popo.
Oh yes, she's barking.